Joining us now with his reaction on the first Republican primary debate is editorial director at the Daily Caller, Vince Coglianese. Vince, great to be with you as always, my friend. First off, I want to ask you, what was the biggest takeaway, at least for you, from last night's debate?
My big takeaway is that whoever didn't know Vivek Ramaswamy now knows him a lot better. That guy appears on stage. He's a businessman, a tech entrepreneur, stands center stage alongside Ron DeSantis because Ramaswamy was polling at technically number 3 in that Republican race, number 2 on the stage. And he dominated the night, and he did it in a number of ways. He mixed it up with the other candidates. Every time you have a fight with another candidate on stage, that means more time for you to speak. And he was plain spoken. He cut right to the chase. He cast himself, much like Trump did in 2016, as the outsider who was willing to cut through the bought and paid for candidates who were standing alongside him. Those were his words last night. And I'm telling you, just having been a part of certainly conservative media and watching the rise of Donald Trump and his presidency, Vivek Ramaswamy, the reception he's getting today, is one that is very positive among the Republican base. Now, does that mean that Donald Trump has lost support and that it's going to Ramaswamy? Well, that is yet to be seen. I don't think that's the case. But still, in terms of the people who appeared on that stage, Vivek did very well.
Yeah, he took a lot of heat as well, too.
Big time, big time. And that's, I think, on purpose. One, given his standing in the polls, I think there were a lot of people on that stage who were prepared to attack him in order to drag him down. And I think that also the reason that there were people trying to take shots at him in part was so that they, too, could have more time to speak. Mike Pence comes to mind. Pence was one of the earliest to begin attacking Vivek Ramaswamy. And that, interestingly, Pence, who was polling a little bit lower than both of these other men, DeSantis and Ramaswamy, he got a lot more time to speak on stage as a result of that. All of the fights that Pence got in last night led to people hearing from the former vice president.
Yeah. Any other surprises for you, Vince?
One surprise to me was how little Ron DeSantis spoke relative to the rest of the stage. DeSantis, although I think he did have a fair amount of speaking time, he seemed to disappear on stage and kind of fade into the background. That could be the product of nobody actually trying to attack Ron DeSantis. DeSantis does have a great record among Republicans and certainly for the country as a governor in Florida. And there were no shots fired in his direction. Perhaps that's on purpose. None of the other candidates wanted to give Ron DeSantis more time on stage. That could explain it. But I thought DeSantis didn't really fight to get his voice out as much as he probably should have to make an impression on this early Republican primary crowd.
Yeah, and they talked obviously about a lot of issues, including abortion. Let's discuss that and a variety of viewpoints shared there. Who do you think stood out on that issue?
I think a couple of people stood out. I thought Tim Scott stood out. I think because he made, a very forceful argument for the protection of life. There was definitely disagreement on that stage, that is, about what could be accomplished. Nikki Haley once again returned to this idea that, well, at the federal level, we won't be able to keep babies from dying to the same extent because the states all disagree on this subject, and we have to be pragmatic about what we can actually accomplish. I just don't think that flies with a Republican primary audience. They're looking, I think, primarily to protect life. And although there were, I think many of the candidates on stage tried to point out, Nikki Haley among them, that the left's position on abortion is deeply extremist and radical, and that includes the mainstream position. I saw some Democrats reacting on social media last night suggesting nobody wants abortion all the way up until birth. That's just not true. The Democrats advanced legislation in 2022 designed to codify the notion that a child could be aborted all the way up until the moment of birth. And certainly we've seen a number of high-profile Democrats, to include the former governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, indicate that abortion may not be even limited to the time in the womb, which is horrific to say. He suggested that a failed abortion that led to a live birth would lead to a conversation between a mother and a doctor to decide what to do with the baby and whether or not they'd allow it to survive. Just gruesome stuff, very extreme. And Republicans would do well to confront that.
Vince, one person, as we know, notably missing from the debate was former President Donald Trump. And instead, as you know, he took part in an interview with Tucker Carlson. Your thoughts on that? And what did you think of that strategy?
Well, it certainly grabbed the camera and pulled it away from the debate last night to an extent. As of midday today, about some 200 million times that video has been viewed on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now X. And in that conversation, I thought it was interesting to hear that Donald Trump, the former president, remains undeterred by all of the efforts to take him down, including these very politicized indictments that he's been subjected to over and over and over again. He says he's enduring because of the massive support that continues to back him, and that gives him energy.
Really, right there, Vince. Always great to be with you and get your insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.